Well, hello, dear listeners, and welcome back to the Reforming Nerddom podcast. I am your host, Jordan Cecile. I am joined today, as always, by the one and only P. Nate, a.k.a. Pastor Nate, a.k.a. Nathaniel P. Wright. Nate, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm actually looking forward to this conversation. It's nice to reconnect with our guest today, so I'll let you introduce him.
Yeah, so today we're joined by a very special guest, the founder of Lure TV. You also probably, listeners, you've seen him on X. He's quite active on there. The one and only Marcus Pittman. Marcus, how are you?
Hey man, thank you for having me on the show. I'm super excited to be here.
Yeah,
although it is early on the East Coast, so I'm gonna push through.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you joining us. We're excited to have you because today we're wanting to talk about. I mean, it's kind of been a firestorm on X in the last couple weeks, particularly. I mean, there's been a buildup of this over the last few months, really, when it comes to the AI art stuff. So listeners, if you can see from the title, we're going to be talking about AI art, but I think maybe even a bit more specifically AI video, because that's really been taking off over the last little bit. So we want to talk to Marcus about that. One, you are a creator. You yourself are a creator, and you have a lot of good insights that I've been seeing on X, and because it feels right now that we really are at a turning point when it comes to media, about content creation, about art, and how we're to think about AI as a tool. In that in some of our previous episodes, we've talked about AI art, and we often get comments from people on the videos chastising us for not having a negative perspective on on AI and its use in art. So be curious. Yeah, we'd like to hear what you have to say about it, and if you will. But before we even do that, one of the things we like to often do when we have a guest on is we like to just give our listeners a little bit of an idea of what kind of nerd you are. So, Marcus, I'm going to ask you rapid fire questions.
Okay.
And I want you to answer as quickly and as honestly as you can.
Oh, no. Okay. All right.
All right. You ready for this?
Yeah.
All right. Star Wars or Star Trek?
Oh, Star Wars.
Lord of the Rings or Narnia?
Narnia.
Marvel or DC?
Well, for what?
Generally.
I'm still the biggest Superman fan.
Okay.
Nice.
Like Disney can't take that away from me.
Yeah, that's right. All right. Favorite video game console?
That's interesting. Brand is Nintendo by far. Specifically, which console? I have my original Nintendo 64 I got for Christmas still.
Nice.
When I was a kid.
So do I.
Let's say I think N64 still lasts with the cartridge.
Yeah.
Things, and it has its own unique culture and character. That was created from it. That's pretty nice.
Okay. Good answer. Favorite cartoon growing up?
Probably Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Great answer. All right.
Yeah.
The more you speak, the more I like you, Marcus. Favorite 80s action hero? Can be the character or the actor. We'll allow either, but the favorite 80s action hero.
I mean, the thing that comes to mind is Schwarzenegger.
Yeah. I mean, that's classic.
Yeah,
Yeah. Phil, how do you choose between which Schwarzenegger character is the best? He has so many. All right. And lastly, what is your favorite nerd activity?
My favorite nerd activity is I just like to talk about pop culture.
Okay.
and
well, you're on the right podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. I always tell people it's like, within Christianity, there's not a lot of people that are like, I just really like classic cartoons that have no meaning, no deep-seated meaning. I just like that Road Coyote and Roadrunner are just trying to kill each other for 15 minutes, and there's no morals. It's just dumb and fun and entertaining. And I think it's a real blessing to be able to have stuff and enjoy that. And so I tell people I'm a simple man. I'm entertained, by Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers, and
And
I
why
like
the
to
Coyote
study.
blowing himself up.
I like to study deep dives into the history of Saturday Night Live, and try to figure out, like, why is Looney Tunes still good
Yeah.
this many years later? Why is Saturday Night Live still on after 50 years? Like, what is it that they're capable of doing? And we forget about God's Not Dead a week after it's out of the theater and never return to it again. We don't have David era white T-shirts. Or we don't have
Yeah.
Comic Cons. With God's Not Dead Comic Cons. Like, what is it about image bearers that we're image bearers and we're Christians and we're making stuff that's not resonating in such a way that creates billion-dollar entertainment brands after the movie is out? It's like we've failed. We're so dumb. Well, actually, we're too smart. That's really what it is. We're not dumb enough to be able to enjoy those things.
Mm.
We're highly academic reformed professionals most of the time, and everything we do is so
Yeah.
serious. You know, which
Yeah.
is why AI art can never, reach my curiosities.
Right. Of course.
You
Good
know?
segue.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, but before we even get into that, Marcus, why don't you just quickly let everybody know what it is that you do? Because you're obviously in this space already. So what is it that you do?
Yeah, so for the past 6 years, we've been building Lore TV, LOOR.TV, and that is really a way to build up young independent filmmakers, to be an incubator and developer for them, and to basically allow filmmakers who don't want to make what I call church slop rom-com movies to be like because all of Christian films are made for, like, 65-year-old women, and then
Yeah.
politically conservative or broad conservative entertainment is all Dinesh D'Souza documentaries, right? So, like, those are the only two options. And when I've spoken to hundreds of artists over the past 6 years, and they're just like, I just want to make an action movie that doesn't have
A come to Jesus moment.
yeah, come to Jesus moment, or I just want to make a dumb cartoon. People who work for Disney, really talented people, and they're like, I can't go to the Christian entertainment space because they don't want my skill set,
Yeah.
and I can't go to the conservative space because they don't want my skill set. And so they're just like, I have to decide between, do I make a pro-trans Disney movie and pay the bills, or do I just quit and drive an Uber? And I'm like, that's immoral on the Christians with capital who aren't investing in things that could keep these guys employed, doing work to the glory of God. And
Yeah.
they're having to decide on Uber because you want to target 65-year-old women in nursing homes. So,
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, that's one of the things we're wanting to do in reforming nerddom, is just see people create good stuff that doesn't just have to have explicit gospel undertones, or not even not even just undertones, but like overt. And like, you can have those undertones, or you can have good redemptive aspects to a story
Yeah.
without it having to involve, Jesus dying on a cross. And I mean, that's why things like Lord of the Rings and Narnia have, I think, to your point of things lasting, is the fact that it's not as overt, it's not as explicit, but yet it's there, and it's not hiding, but yet it's not at the expense of good action and good characters and just a good world that they've created. And yeah, most Christian stuff is just terrible. Like, I think Christian slop is a great way of describing it, because it really is. It's just,
Yeah.
most Christian stuff is terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, what we're wanting to do now, listeners, is we want to talk about AI art. And I think the reason why this even comes up right now is, for anybody who's on X, it's kind of been just overwhelming X over the last little bit, where a couple big things have happened. Over the last few months, there's been just more developments. I know X and Grok has their own kind of image to video tool now, where you can take an image and it'll animate it for a few seconds. And that's been kind of developing over the last maybe like 6 to 9 months, really. I know there are some other tools that have done that as well, but it's in the last, maybe, would you say, Marcus, 2 or 3 weeks where there's been a pretty radical
February
development.
6th.
Is that what it was?
The date was February 6th that I think Opus 4.6 came out, and I think the new Chat G, is it Opus? It was February 6th. There were 2 major models that
Okay,
dropped that
C-Dance
kind of
was the one. Yeah,
what?
C-Dance
Yeah,
2.0.
yeah. So
And
C-Dance
then
for sure.
yeah, and then Kling 3.0 was another big one. But I think there's been more. Like there's a bunch of different
Yeah,
models.
but it's been this month in February
yes,
with the models that have dropped just in February that shifted. I mean, so I talk with a lot of developers. I have a lot of friends that are technology developers, and they've gone from literally within this month to AI is a good tool to help me with code to I max out all my Claude credits by the first hour
yeah.
of the day, and I'm writing thousands of lines of code a day. Like
Well,
that's an insane shift. They've 100x their output
yeah. Well, even just
in this month.
yeah, like even just like the coding side, there was a thing, we needed to make some changes to improve our user experience for our Ezra Media platform to help people just like buy our foundations curriculum easier.
Yeah,
And I ended up, there was a couple specific things that I needed done. And just by having ChatGPT open, I explained what I needed. I gave it the info of it was like a WordPress site using MemberPress, and it wrote a bunch of custom JavaScript for me. And it took maybe 1 or 2 times of just like refining it. But within a few minutes, it was just doing everything I needed it to do. It removed certain things, it added certain things, improved things. And I estimate, I mean, because I build like WordPress websites. I'm not a developer per se, but I know enough about it. And I estimate it probably would have cost us about $500 to get a developer to go in and do that stuff. And it took me maybe 20 minutes with ChatGPT, and
yeah,
it's now working and it's great. And so,
yeah,
um, and that is, yeah, I'm noticing significant improvements just in the writing stuff, in a lot of task oriented things. So like the speed at which AI is improving is significant. And I
yeah,
think the best way to see that is with art and with video specifically, because art, it's been doing pretty well. I found there's been a few issues, and Nate ran into this a little bit when he was developing the cover arts for his books that he made. And it was having a hard time taking maintaining likeness of somebody sometimes. Like if you were to say like make this person and do it in a cyberpunk anime, it would
yeah,
look okay, but it wasn't great. But now it's just like doing it,
Yeah.
and it
yeah.
retains it perfectly. Like 2 weeks ago with our thumbnail, when Nate and I dropped our episode talking about how we were stranded in Miami, I mean, it even got my biceps correct, as much as Nate hated that.
Didn't quite get mine, but you know.
But it was just like, yeah, that looks exactly like us. It was great. But now the real life, true to life images that it's doing, and it can take somebody and put them in another setting. And so we're seeing that in these videos now, where it's not only creating videos, but it's taking real life actors, real life dialogue, their voices, having them in scenes, doing things in a way that it actually kind of feels like black magic in some way. Like it's absolutely incredible. So for what I want to do right now, real quick, is just for, if you're a listener, you're going to miss out on this episode a little bit. So I encourage you to go and watch us on YouTube, because I'm going to be showing some clips of videos, and if you're not up to speed on where things are at, I think you're going to be pretty blown away. So I would encourage you to go watch us over on YouTube to check out some of the videos. But I first want to just show off. This was from, I think it was 2023. So only 3 years ago, less than 3 years ago. And this was the first like AI generated video. And for whatever reason, it was of Will Smith eating spaghetti. And so like it's right here.
Oh, that's hot. That's hot. Okay, good. Come try this. Fresh pasta of Bel Air.
Okay. Ridiculous. Looks terrible, right? Looks awful.
Yeah.
His face is morphed out, like the audio's not great. But now this is what just came out with Sea Dance.
Unbelievable, man.
The little hair flip. That was so
Like
Yeah.
that is indiscernible from, if not better than most of what Hollywood could produce right now. And that scene right there, what was it? Not even a minute would have cost them how many tens of millions of dollars to produce that using CGI?
It would have cost the time. It would have taken them probably at the very least 6 months of work to edit that scene by hand. And a whole team that creates a 7-minute end credit scene at the end of the movie of, you know what I mean? So, you watch a Disney movie and 90% of the credits at the end are just VFX guys, right? So, I think if I'm an this is my Christian moral philosophy. If I'm an investor in a movie, and I have the option between doing something like that, which can be done very quickly and cost efficiently, and it's only going to get better. So we're not. I mean, 5 years from now, we won't be having the discussions on all the things it doesn't get right. Or because I just want to subsidize jobs, I can hire a team for 6 months to do that and spend $100 million. I think it's immoral as an investor for someone to make the other decision just to keep jobs on the table. Somebody once told me, it's actually really interesting, I think it's a great point, is it's immoral to subsidize jobs for humans to do the work that a robot can do. So in the sense of like you're actually demeaning their skill by keeping them on employment if a job can do it. Because they're probably capable of doing much better things with their and so I think for the coffee. So but also too, just in terms of like you have a responsibility as an investor in a film to be frugal with your money. You have I would argue a moral responsibility to reduce the cost and increase the profits. That's you right. And so if I can make movies like that, and I don't care if there's weird physics issues or minor glitches, or there's a scene where he has 6 fingers for 1 or 2 frames. That doesn't bother me because South Park is a multi-billion-dollar brand that's made with construction paper animation that was passed around on a VHS tape for a college school project.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So they've never cared about production quality at South Park, because they care. What people at South Park cared about was, how do we get an episode out and finished and done in 6 days?
Yeah.
That's slop in animation. Like a 6-day cartoon is slop. But they're, worth multi-billion dollars in money because they've been able to be culturally relevant by releasing projects in 6 days, where Simpsons, it's 6 months of work per episode per team.
No way.
Or it used to be, but it is. So all of the Simpsons stuff is irrelevant and nobody cares by the time an episode or season comes out. People don't even remember Simpsons is still on the air, and it's only on the air because it was one of the first shows that Fox Cable put on the air, and they're just I think they're just milking it to a certain point to be able to beat a certain record, and but nobody like Simpsons is slop at this point. Like it is slop, like legitimately, and it's very expensive, time consuming, $8 million a year per voice actor slop. So if you're gonna choose between slop, I would choose the cheap slop that
Yeah.
makes a higher profit return than I would the expensive slop.
See, I think you're right with like even talking about animated shows. I think that's going to be the first industry that's really going to leverage this, is because of how fast it can be, and because it's a lot simpler. It's way less complex. You don't have I mean, that scene where you see like a transformer jet and having to deal with like a human with the way that his jacket was moving and his hair was flowing, and you have fire effects and smoke effects and all this stuff in the background with people on the ground and cars. Like that's very complex. So the amount of things that it can get wrong obviously goes up. But I saw a clip of, it was a Family Guy, and it was Peter being sorted at Hogwarts, and it was fully AI generated, and it was like, this looks identical to an episode of the show. Identical. There's the voices were fine, so it's just I don't see how, especially to your point of studios wanting to just maximize every dollar they spend. Like there's just no way that they're not going to use this. Like there's just no way. It's way too good, and it's going to get better and better and better. And so it does seem like an inevitability, and I think that's what I think that what Sea Dance and Kling, like the new models, I think that's why this is finally, we're at that inflection point in media where it's like this has shown that this is actually happening now. And so actually there's a really interesting video. Did you see Matthew McConaughey's interview with Timothy Chalamet?
I did. Yeah.
And so for our listeners, I just want to play this because this shows that Hollywood knows what's happening, and Matthew McConaughey is aware of it, and he's kind of cautioning his fellow actors on what they do. So it's just interesting. I'm going to play this clip. I don't know if we'll do all of it, but I'll just start it here. Whoop.
Don't deny it. It's coming. It's already here. Don't deny it. It's not enough. It may be for you, but it's not going to be enough to sit on the sidelines and make the moral plea that no, this is wrong. It's not going to last. Too much money to be made, and it's too it's here, right? So I say it's your own yourself, voice, likeness, etc. Trademark it, whatever you got to do.
That's why you did that.
Yeah, own yourself. So when it comes, not if it comes, no one can steal you. But they're gonna have to come to you to go, can I? Or they're gonna be in breach, and you'll have the chance to be your own agency and go, yeah, for this amount, or no. Okay, it's coming. Is it going to be another category, or is it going to infiltrate our category? It's damn sure going to infiltrate our category. I think it'll end up. Does it become another category? Will we be in 5 years having filmed the best AI, the best AI actor? Maybe. I think that might be the thing, is that becomes another category. I'm not sure.
So I think
it definitely will.
Yeah. It's interesting.
He's a very smart, like he's a very level-headed, smart, rational actor. Most of them aren't that way. They're purely emotional and all this stuff. But I would say this is better for the actor. This is giving them way more sovereignty and reducing the power from the studios, the gatekeepers and executives. So I think he's right. I think he should trademark himself. He should, copyright his voice, whatever he can do legally, so that people don't use it without his permission or for things that he doesn't want to do. I think that's totally acceptable if he wants to do that. But ultimately, but yeah, I think that gives him way more sovereignty and free agency over how he's used.
Yeah, Nate, you were gonna say something?
Well, I was just gonna say, I think it's I think it's nice to see a level-headed actor who's recognizing the inevitability of this. But it's I think, one of the things that I'm excited about, the possibilities of this is that Marcus just used the term gatekeepers. I mean, we could do a whole episode on the corruption of Hollywood and all this kind of stuff, but
and Christian entertainment.
And Christian entertainment,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I've friends who have been involved in the Christian music scene, and I mean,
Yeah.
it's pretty terrible how
It's all co-opted. The whole thing's co-opted.
Yeah.
Most people don't understand that.
And so what it does, I think, is it sort of levels the playing field and is taking power away from people who have taken decades to collect the kind of power that allows them to be gatekeepers. So in that fashion, I think it's interesting. But I also would just say, like, Marcus took a little while to answer the DC versus Marvel, and I can't read minds, but I read the expression on his face, and I suspect, like me, he was a big DC comic book fan, but would have to recognize that Marvel kind of won the day in the
100%.
movie industry. Right?
100%. Yeah.
And so, leading up to Endgame and stuff, Marvel did something special there with the culmination of their films that DC hasn't been able to do. Yeah. And yet I saw just on Twitter the other day that, I don't know if you guys saw that, like, 2-minute fight scene between Batman and Captain America. And that was as good, if not better, than anything that Marvel produced in terms of like one-on-one combat.
Look,
Yeah.
look, you're absolutely right about that. I saw that. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. There it is right there.
Well,
I mean, that's unbelievable.
This one's Superman and Doctor Strange.
It's incredible. And lawyers are going to prevent those things from being made. But my prediction market bet, if I made a prediction market bet, it would be that there's going to be a Doomsday Avengers generated by AI full-length feature before Disney comes out with it in October. Somebody's working on their own version. It's going to be a massive pain in the butt for Disney, but it's absolutely coming out. It'll probably be leaked as a bootleg screener, and everybody will think it's the actual one. But I bet you somebody is working on that. But I lost my mind when I saw Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles versus Power Rangers.
I saw that.
Out.
I know.
I flipped out, and but it made me mad. I actually was kind of mad. I was like, the fact that no one in Hollywood did that is insane. It's insane. It's unbelievable that never happened. Look, there's entire Reddit threads debating it. You have the Foot Soldiers and the Putty Clan, like, the Foot Clan and the Putty Soldiers, right? And so there it is. Yes, look at this. This is incredible.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's great. It's like, what? How has this not been made? What lawyers prevented this from happening? It's crazy. It's $1 billion franchise right there.
Well, just think about what true fandom would be able to do once they now that they have access to the power to create things that are, because I mean, like, a lot of people just don't have the technical skills to do it, but they have the creativity and they have the love for the IP that they would do it, and like that's what that is.
There's always been fan films. There's always been, like, Hollywood is all, like, George Lucas made Star Wars the monstrosity that it is because he was very friendly towards fan filmmakers. He let them he let them use Star Wars sound effects library in their movies. Like, I mean, like, there was, like, significant what he did. And then you have Lego, who was copyright striking Lego motion picture movies on YouTube, and then they got retaliated against, and then they went and hired the guy who's really pioneered Lego YouTube movies to be a consultant on the Lego movie.
Oh, wow.
because they wanted to make sure the animation matched the fan films that people expect from a Lego animated movie. And so they, you know, Lego even came around and became supportive of the fan culture stuff. So Hollywood's always been a support. Now I'm not saying you should go ahead and monetize these sort of things, but there is a difference between you know, fan films and you know, for-profit IP ventures. So
Yeah. I mean, the one thing that we often hear is that this is going to kill art. AI is going to be the death blow to true art. What would you say to somebody who were to say that?
I'm
Marcus?
gonna quote what Doug Tenapel said on my show because it's the best argument I've ever heard about it, and I'll
Perfect.
never be able to do this. But the same people who are saying it's death to art are the people that put a crucifix in a jar of urine and said this is art. So they've lost all categories to be able. Well, once you embrace postmodern view of art, that everything is art, no matter what, and all this blasphemous stuff, or what he says, they signed a urinal and sold it for hundreds of thousands of dollars. They signed Sotheby's sold an unmade bed as an art piece. Like once they do that.
Yeah.
They lose any moral authority or standing or ground to be able to say that this isn't art. And if I'll even go as far to say that AI eating Will Smith eating spaghetti that we just saw, that version is classic. It's a classic and it's going to live on forever. I don't know how Will Smith feels about being the testing model well, actually I do, because he's filmed videos of himself eating spaghetti for fun. So he's kind of embraced it. He knows, I think it increases his cultural capital. So I think he's probably fine with it. But that Will Smith eating spaghetti is a classic art piece in the same way we find a cave painting, a simple cave painting, and we're like, wow, that's really great. Like, so yeah, I would absolutely say that AI is art, and I can justify it from scripture too, I think, and I'm working that argument out. So it would be nice to run it by a pastor. You want to bring that up?
Well, yeah, I've got your post here. Well, actually, here, real quick for
this is okay. This goes to the AI is art argument too. Because I just want to emphasize, these are the actual arguments in this song that the scribes used to protest the printing press. Okay. So I had Grok compose the lyrics based on writings from scribes protesting the printing press and all the concerns of the printing press, and it made this song. Suno made the song. I put the lyrics into Suno. Suno made the song, and then each of these clips is my own prompt and generated idea for this project, and then I edited it manually, like, you know, a classic hard labor edit in Adobe Premiere. So
all right, well, here, listeners, this is a music video that Marcus made, so I'm gonna play this. You can, if you're just listening, you'll hear the song. If you're watching, you'll see it and listen.
In the abbey deep where the candles burn low, Revo, scribes are scratching, call with me quill letting wisdom flow. Revo, ink a flow, but now comes the press with its iron bite. Crack, clack, go be spilling, spewing out pages, no soul in sight. Revo, art of dying. Oh, to the beast that steals our craft, that floods the seas with soulless craft. Beware the machine that claims the tide, it drops a spark where true words hide. Heave-ho, back to the quill we go, lest the divine light fade below. Master's books once rare as buried gold. Heave-ho, pages precious, now hawked on dock as cheap tales retold. Heave-ho, wisdom cheapened, no calloused hands, no visual through night. Clank, clank, gears are turning, just mimicry cold, blocking the light. Heave-ho, spirit burning.
So yeah, that song is awesome, and you'd said that you made that with Suno, which
Mhm.
I'm a huge fan of. I make songs for our kids in Suno, and we bought them a Yoto player. We got each of them a Yoto player for Christmas, and now I just download the Suno songs and upload them to the Yoto, and all they want to do is listen to the songs I make them, which is amazing. Like our kids
Isn't that
don't,
beautiful?
yeah, like we,
Like you're
yeah,
able to make your own music for your children. That's crazy. Who could be against that?
and it's music that like I want them to listen to. It's in styles that they like. Like my one daughter, she really loves that like Anne of Green Gables thing, and she's so I made her a like an Irish folk song, and she just loves it. It's Claire of the Copper Dawn, and she just adores it. And then we have like a funny one for our daughter Alice, and it's like because I guess backstory real quick. My friend of ours, Nate, and I go on vacation with a few other families, and one of our friends said to my daughter Alice that called her Allie Ice, and because she has ice in her veins because she's fearless, so now she's Allie Ice. And so I made a song, and it's like Allie, 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 ice, 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 and it's just, and so now she just loves hearing the song because it's a song, and it's like I'm not a musician, and so I can't
Yeah.
go. I mean, the amount of time that it would take me to go and learn all these instruments and how to produce
Yeah.
audio and all these things, and yet but I know the type of song that I want. I know the style. I know the lyrics, and so like can go and put those things in and do that, and so it then allows you to like go and create even that the video that you made there where the song sounded cool, it had great meaning to it, and it is actually kind of getting at this whole thing of what we're in right now where people are saying that this is going to kill art. But I think your argument in the song and just what you've said is it is just like any other innovation
Yeah.
that
About
comes across.
the monk said the abundance of books reduces their value.
Yeah.
And it is true. But we've seen that the more books there are, the better it is for the world.
Mm-hmm.
Got us to the industrial revolution, got us to digital, and now AI. So that was all because of the printing press. Um, so I would think the same is true for stories. Uh, we need stories, man. We don't have. There is not any courage in this nation. We don't have the courage of the people that started this country. We just don't have it. And one of the reasons is because we don't have stories that inspire people to go out and to be brave and that sort of thing. Hollywood
Mm-hmm.
prevents those things from being made. We don't have the courage from the capital, from the conservative or faith-based side, to be able to invest money in those stories. Conservative faith-based side, they don't have courage to invest in entertainment at all. It's all through
Mm-hmm.
nonprofit organizations and donor advisor funds, so they get a tax write-off. So how are we going to get stories that inspire bravery and men to be men and women to be women? Like, how are we going to get those stories if Hollywood's not going to make it? Conservative investors and faith-based investors aren't going to make it. We have to have a printing press for stories, and this
Yeah.
is exactly what this is doing for us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. I think I mean, there is the theological problem that we have in the West right now where we're still unfortunately largely dispensational. So I think we got to work through that culturally to get rid of that whole everything is essentially of this earth is useless and meaningless, and we need to work through that.
What's that tweet that's like, it's like so and so is happening and you're still black pilled?
Yeah.
It's like hey, we have AI and you're still a dispensational. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, like, are you crazy?
Yeah,
So
and that's why I appreciate about I know you're out in Moscow and kind of amongst the Canon guys and what they're doing with Canon Press and Canon Plus and Cannonball books, and there's all those great things there. And so it's like I know these are the types of tools that I think people who do have a right view of the present and the future, we can now start leveraging these things because we don't have the money. But like I sent a video to Nate a few weeks ago. I had a an image of my daughter turned into, and again, it wasn't like a great replication of her because this was an image I made probably 6 months ago, but it was just like of a girl with red hair, and she was kind of wearing like Viking drab, and it was a really cool drawing. It just didn't really look like my daughter as much. But then I just threw it into Kling. This was a few weeks back, and I said animate it and have her fighting a dragon using jujitsu, and it did it. And it was just like very little prompting. I didn't give it
Yeah.
a ton of detail, and yet it was like a real. And you see like the fire, you see the smoke from the nostrils, and you see her doing jujitsu moves, and it looked very good, and how her hair was moving, and so now it's like, okay, I mean, Nate has a world that he has made, and he has stories. And I mean, what is stopping us? Really, the only thing that's stopping us is time. And I know one of the things, Marcus, that you have been talking about is just credits and like raising the money for the credits for the prompts. Because for people who
Yeah.
don't know, the way that a lot of these tools work is you get a certain number of credits, which is essentially you type in your prompt, the thing that you want the tool to do, and every time you do that, it costs you a certain amount of money. Now, typically you buy bulk credits and you get a certain amount.
Yeah.
But to do these types of lengthy videos, it is going to require money to do that.
Me and Jason Farley right now are working on the underpinnings of an idea to create a nonprofit organization, mainly because Christians only give money through nonprofits and not for-profit ventures, but a nonprofit organization that will find, incubate, and develop filmmakers by paying for their AI credits. So working out strategic partnerships with, like, I did dream would be like, hey, can we get a strategic partnership with XAI that will fund ACCS classical Christian film clubs and inner city urban communities to be able to find talented young indie filmmakers using AI and let them brainstorm credits and just be able to run wild and make stuff. Because I think using AI, like if you teach a 10-year-olds are going to be able to make movies. And so let's say you have a 10-year-old that starts making AI, and then 8 years from now, he's 18, he's out of homeschool, and he's like, I want to be a real filmmaker now. But he's got 8 years of experience building out stories and editing them together and doing whatever. By the time he doesn't have to go to film school at that point. So how do you, we as Christians, find the next generation of filmmakers and storytellers, and give them the tools they need so that they're not bound by, the price. Like right now, I don't have the money to be able to get like professional AI plans and credits, right? So, that's why that video you just played is pure AI slop, but I did that for comedic effect, but also because I'm poor. So all I have is construction paper. What kind of story can we tell with construction paper? It's the exact same thing. So that's the thing. Cause my heart really is, for, the indie filmmaking scene, the true punk rock film culture. I think Christians have completely ignored that, and I want to revitalize that. Now's the time.
What do you think, Nate? Were you gonna say something there?
No, go for it.
All right. Like, what do you think it's going to take for the church to start actually seeing this as a tool for good? Like you envision it. Like, what do you think it's going to take?
What it's going to take is it's going to take one person that has the capital to invest in some people like what we're doing at Lore, that is willing to just disrupt the whole game. It really is. The entire faith-based and conservative film industry is really, really just built on a house of cards. It's so fragile, and there's so much work and effort to keep Christian slop as Christian slop. Right? Like, it's so much effort just to kind of protect that space and that revenue stream. And if you grassroots, something that really breaks the rules, like, you know, the film that we're working on, we've been talking about for a while. We're finishing the script. I think it is finished. The Lesbian and the Lumberjack, which is like a satirical rom-com about a lesbian who gets stuck on the road and meets a lumberjack and realizes she's not gay. She just never met a real man before. That film, first off, it's a really great script. It's really good. It's the log line is silly and ridiculous, but also no one will distribute that. Lionsgate's not going to distribute that. DreamWorks, Sony Family Pictures isn't, like, nobody's going to, you know, you're not going to see that on the, you know, Great American, you know, Hallmark channel. Like, it's not going to, like, no one's got the guts to do it. But if you get the one person with the capital that says, I will take that financial risk, it'll disrupt the entire industry, because they'll all be forced, like, holy cow, I made so much money. And then everybody will look around and go, why are we watching this nonsense when this can be made? So it really does just take you know, just investment and capital risk. And that's the thing that's just lacking. All conservatives only invest in B2B SaaS is that they can sell to Google, right? So that's really their only investment strategy. And entertainment requires a post-mill worldview to invest in, because, you know, what Christian do you know today that would have thought, when they saw the construction paper, blasphemous? And I'm not saying Christians shouldn't have invested in South Park, but the first episode was like super blasphemous. Construction paper. It was passed around on a VHS tape. It was a college film project. What Christian do you know that would look at that and go, there's something there that could be worth multi-billions of dollars 30 years from now, right? So the entertainment investing space is, you know, how do we 10x our investment within 5 years, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you 10x your investment, you 100x your investment over the course of a generation. And that's all entertainment.
There's an underlying thing that you're saying here, Marcus, that I think is worth fleshing out, because I think some Christians will listen to what you're saying about investment and return on investment and wonder, like, I think one of the main issues, I mean, we've talked about worldview and whether or not a dispensational worldview or a defeatist worldview even has the capacity to think through investing in art. But there'd be a lot of Christians who might feel uncomfortable with how you're even talking about smart investing as a Christian. So maybe even just start there, like talk a little bit about why Christians should invest in art. Because I don't know if that's something that we all assume based on what we've thought through. But I don't think most Christians listening to you would have the same presuppositions that we do. Why should Christians invest in art? Like, we've lost that. It used to be Christians leading the way when it came to
church as a patrons,
visual art, all of it, right? But we don't have that anymore. So why should Christians actually, instead of buying 10 million gospel tracts, why should they invest in art?
So the first thing I would say is that politics is downstream from culture, and then the church is upstream from culture, right? So if the church isn't producing high quality entertainment and pop culture, and by church, and not the sphere, but the Christians, right? So if the churches should not be investing in pop culture. That's the problem. We pitched a show. This is sidetrack. We pitched a show to a major person, and he said, "I really love this show. I just don't think the mega churches will invest in it." And we're like, "It is not for the mega churches. It is for everybody, and we don't want tithe money to be the funder of this thing. If it's bad, it loses money, and we don't ever do it again. If it's good, it makes tons of money. But we like, do you know any business people that'll invest?" And they're like, "No, man. Like, all our projects are funded by mega churches. It's crazy. It's crazy, right?" So not church, but the church people. Chronicles of Narnia, Lord of the Rings, these things have multi-generational impact on society. Stories resonate. It's because good stories resonate with image bearers, whether they're Christian or not. And so as Christians, we know we have the Bible, so we know what the standards are of a good story. We know what will resonate with all humans and what won't resonate with humans. It's why you can have a really good story, but it's got this lesbian side plot or this LGBTQ side plot, and it has these sort of narratives, and they always lose money in the box office, right? Because there's something inside of every human being that goes, that's not natural. So the story never comes out as good, and that's why woke Hollywood lost so much money. It wasn't just because people didn't want the gay stuff preached to them. People don't care about that. Not in this country. People don't care about that. It's just that they don't understand that it's just, this doesn't resonate with image bearers. And so we have that ability. And also too, you should invest in it because it's a subtle act of warfare. You know, they've been putting gays in movies and TV shows for decades, and they've been warming you up to this idea of, and then the next thing you know, the Supreme Court allowed gay marriage. Like, where did that come from? It was 20 years of Hollywood, giving you emotional, sort of, reactions and seeing them live normally and do all these sort of things. So, you know, so we should be investing in movies strictly for the purpose of, hey, we want more movies that end in a wedding between a man and a woman, like The Princess Bride. We need more movies that just end in weddings. And then you start to build up a generation of people that desire those sort of good and holy and righteous. We need more movies where men are risking their lives to save the woman. We need less boss women, boss babe, you know, sort of movies. Like you see on the internet, people are so fed up of boss babe action heroes. Like because it just doesn't, and they're not even Christians. It just doesn't resonate well. They just go, there's no way that woman could beat up that guy, right? Like it doesn't make sense. So we need those. We need to. It's not about evangelism. That's the role of the church sphere. This is about how do we resonate on a consumer level with image bearers in a way that's profitable and makes a return. And Christians are the best for that. But the whole faith, it's a whole other topic, but the whole faith-based entertainment industry has just been taken captive by leftists. At the top of the top. And in order to make a faith-based film, you have to make a really crappy version of Christianity that the leftists go, oh yeah, that is Christianity. Right? Like, because that's the only way it'll get funded. And, you know, people are always asking us all the time, well, why don't you work with so-and-so? Why don't you work with so-and-so? And it's like, well, they're captive, you know, like Angel Studios, just for real, like Angel Studios just bought the distribution rights to Seth Rogen's Animal Farm. Nothing against Seth. Seth is brilliant, but it has a trans voice actor, and it's a kid's version of Animal Farm. Why is Angel Studios putting out a film with trans actors in kids' films? That's crazy. Like, that's crazy. And I would say investors should seriously consider, you know, whether or not they took their, you know, it was like, I mean, like they built this whole company and took investment on conservative and Christian values. And now they're doing this sort of thing. It's disgusting.
Well, and it's kind of the Marxist playbook that we're seeing played out in Christian entertainment now, right? It's like they've built a market space. They've flooded it with things that are antithetical to our worldview, and now people feel trapped. Like Angel Studios is the only alternative that they have. I actually have to run, but I'm gonna run rather than cut this conversation short. So I'm gonna deke out, but I want you guys to keep going because I think this is a really good and helpful conversation. So it was great seeing you, Marcus. Jordan, keep the conversation going, and I'll tune in this week.
Cool. Thanks, Nate. So, Marcus, one of the questions I was going to ask you is, I mean, you're very pro leveraging new tools and technologies to...
Yeah, I like to say I live in a post-mill science fiction future.
I like that a lot. I like that. Is there anything that you are concerned about with these things?
There is. I was actually talking to Pastor Doug about this today. there's a lot of dangers with AI. Like Sam Altman is number one, danger number one. Grok's transhumanist worldview, we're all in a simulation, number two, right? Like, so the people that are making AI are a problem. Their worldview is dangerous. They're like legitimately dangerous, communism level dangerous. But they've made this thing that reflects God as creator. In their attempts to defy God, they've actually shown no, actually God does exist, because you've created this incredible creation mechanism that functions almost in the same way as God functions when he creates, right? And so there's a very good presuppositional argument there. But I just want to be clear. I know there are dangers, and I'm not oblivious to them. I just think there's so many Christians that are talking about the dangers, and what I want to do is I want to be the guy that encourages Christians to invest capital and to build and become experts and industry leaders in this thing. I was at the cigar lounge the other day. This guy, he was like 65 years old. He was an older guy, comes in, and I asked him what he does. He goes, "Oh, I work in AI." And I was like, "Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Well, like, how did you don't expect a guy that old to be working in AI?" I said, "Well, how'd you get started doing AI?" He said, "I started working on AI in the 80s, 1980. Yeah. I mean, how is that possible? Like, we didn't even have like desktop computers weren't even, like, internet wasn't even around. Right. And so it just hit me like, holy cow, like, Christians are so late. We're generationally late in our investment in our capital, what we're doing. And we have this ability, and this will lead up into this, what you're about to pull up. But the Tower of Babel, the curse of the Tower of Babel has been destroyed. It's over. Pentecost reversed that curse. It gave us languages again. It allowed us to go into all the world and to communicate. And ever since the Tower of Babel has reversed, this technology has just completely shifted ever since we got our languages back. So originally in Genesis, God says, "Oh no, we can't let humans do whatever they want." And then in the New Testament, that curse is reversed, and we see Jesus saying, with God all things are possible, and then the Tower of Babel says, with man anything is possible. So we're gonna, right. So there's this sort of shift, and I think like every technological miracle we see, I think is not technological. Every technological invention we see is an imitation, is a cheap imitation of an actual miracle. So, we see, the dispensationalists like to say, "Oh, the flying locusts," it's like, "Oh, we go, oh, that's like kind of like helicopters or whatever." So, but a better example is probably just more like Jesus, like, will heal somebody by his word, but we get antibiotics and can heal that same person, whereas they couldn't do that back then. So God's given us all these materials in the world to imitate him and to be like him. And I think it means going to that level too. And I'm not a materialist, so I'm saying God did absolute miracles, and they were miracles because they were God. But also, I don't think God doesn't do anything illogically. So I think like everything he's done miraculously is, I would say, could be argued that it is possible to be done through very complicated technological ways. And so we have it, discovered, I always like to say, this is how sci-fi, postmodern sci-fi I am. I just like to say, if we see in Acts people teleporting miraculously, maybe there's a way in God's world where we can invent teleportation. Maybe. I don't know. I'm just saying that, because God's not illogical. He's not doing stuff that's outside of the laws of logic. So maybe it's possible in his world, and we should work on doing that, because that'd be really great to get missionaries into like weird, they're closed
Yeah.
countries, and right. So maybe that's worth investing in that tech and finding a bunch of creation scientists that want to come together. And yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, that's how our mindset should be. It's like, well,
Yeah.
you know,
Sounded like you were about to go off the rails there in the conversation about Nephilim or something like that.
no. But there's Isaiah 65. It talks about the young man, the young boy shall die 100 years old, right? So, is prophecy of the future. So we know that life is going to be extended, but the way to extend life isn't to do what that billionaire is doing right now, where he's live streaming himself taking shrooms. It's to let's look at the science and stuff that might have happened, or the genetic stuff that might have happened after the flood. That like what did God do to us that caused that? And then is there a way that we can, by giving glory to God, fix that? And extend the life of you. I don't know. I don't know, but it's God told us to take dominion of the earth, right? So, a lot of animals have gone extinct. Is there a way we can Jurassic Park like things like it's okay to have those conversations
Yeah.
talking about dominion, and be innovative and all these sort of things. I would love this is what, like, if I ever had like my own investment fund. I've said this before. I would invest in a bunch of creation scientists that would work on bringing back dinosaurs, and only Answers in Genesis would have the rights to build the park. Like, let's do that. Like, let's make some radical scientific world-changing transformation and make it very clear that it was Christians that did this. Like, but that just requires investment in capital. There's no other way. There's no other way to do it. So
you said something which I think is really important to remind people of, is that even though some of these tools are being developed by God haters, and some of them are being developed for the purpose of hating God and hating his creation, it still ultimately is his, and it belongs to him. He is the creator of it. And now we as Christians need to just realize that, and like imagine what these tools would be in the hands of faithful, Bible believing, God fearing Christians who wanted the better for the world, not for its destruction. And so just think about what these tools would actually do if they didn't have these inherent biases that ChatGPT obviously has. Which, interestingly, ChatGPT the other day gave me, I would think it was yesterday. What was I doing? I'm reading through Genesis right now, and I put in something. I can't remember exactly what I asked it, but it did say that without me prompting it or anything, when it was talking about Lot and having the angels and the men of the city wanting to break in to rape them, it actually did say, without me prompting it, that it was male on male rape. That was the fear. And I was like, oh, that's actually kind of shocking that it didn't try to do they were just being inhospitable or whatever nonsense that pro-gays tried to do. So it was fascinating that without it being prompted, it did say, like, no, the problem was it was male on male rape. It was like, oh, there you go. So
that's right.
I'm hoping ChatGPT, but like I just think it's one of those things now.
There's a financial, and people don't talk about this. There's a financial incentive. Their business is dependent on accuracy.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I think I have less fear of it being inaccurate, and there's going to be a lot of competition to be the most accurate, even if it means offending people.
Yeah, and I have found, because I use Grok, I use Gemini, I use ChatGPT, I use all of them for kind of different purposes, and I have found the bias has been shifting in ChatGPT, like, and even Gemini as well. Like, there's that classic question that people have said you pose to AI: if you had to choose between misgendering somebody or let the whole world be destroyed, what would you do? And sometimes in the past, we're like, oh, well, we can't misgender somebody. And I think
in God's providence, we had all of that woke nonsense, and has come and now there's an outrage and rebellion towards it, just
Yeah.
at this integral time in history where it's
Yeah.
very important that that the people will react in a negative way. Like, I mean, that's all God's providence and stuff. So
Yeah, I just can't wait to see because it's gonna happen, and people, if they don't like it, I mean, some people didn't like photography, they didn't like, mass manufacturing, they didn't like, steam ships, like, people always had
oh
issues
yeah,
with
Industrial
technological
Revolution, a
advancement.
lot of people protested all the jobs that we
Yeah, and so
lost,
it's
and they
like
were right. They were right, but the world is better off because of it.
yes, and
You know?
it's just one of those things you gotta accept because it like Matthew McConaughey understands it. It's not it's here, you gotta accept it, you gotta learn to adapt to it, and so now I just can't wait to see what I think we are gonna see some changes in our generation. I mean, like, the kids that we're having, I look forward to seeing what did they produce in 10, 15 years. The kids who now are not being raised in dispensational churches that teach them, there's no point to anything, but now they're actually being raised in families that treat them like Christians, that tell them that the world is good, teach them that it's okay to watch a cartoon, but then also teaching them it's like, "Oh, you like Bluey? Okay, well, like, do you wanna make a show like Bluey and we can, like, do it together and create a
Yeah,
character and create a world and then just let my kid go crazy and say, "Okay, this month you're gonna get X number of credits. Go see what you can do, kid." And,
yeah,
just, like, have my kid go and create the next Bluey, and she's 10, and she could actually do it, right? Like, she
right.
actually
That's
could
right.
go and do that as long as because again, um, it's just a matter of, like, all this what people don't realize is it's not just creating things on its own, it has to be prompted to do it. And the beauty of it is somebody who knows how to prompt it in what
Right.
they're saying and what they're describing and make this, do it in this way. And that's where like people still need to understand filmmaking to make a good film, even if they aren't the ones standing behind a camera doing it, because people know what is a good scene and what's a not a good scene, or what's a
Yeah.
good transition and what's not a good transition. And you need to have a person who understands what works and what doesn't, and lighting and dialogue and all those things. Like those are still going to require
Yeah.
human input, but it is somebody that you can learn that without, like you said earlier, not you don't have to go to school to do that anymore. Like there's a lot of stuff that, to be quite honest, like universities should be terrified of what AI is doing because like the number of things now that I just learn using ChatGPT now is just incredible. And certain jobs are probably going to still be like archaic and like, oh, you need this random piece of paper that I know most of your papers were generated with AI anyway. So you're not actually smarter because you have this piece of paper.
Right.
And so it's just like that whole mindset around needing to go to school for this stuff. It really is becoming far less compelling or necessary when, even for an example. So I've always wanted to learn how to do typesetting. So with working at Ezra, I oversee our publishing. I know what looks good. I understand typesetting. I understand all the things that make good typesetting, bad typesetting, all those things. I just didn't know how to physically use the tool to do it. And so 2 weekends ago, I was just like feeling particularly creative and I was like, "You know what? I'm just gonna sit down." I had Gemini open. I had Affinity, which is what I like using, and I was just like, "Okay, walk me through the steps on how to typeset a book." Showed me how to format it, told me how to set up all the auto things so that it prevents weird spacing and bad formatting, so it just
Yep.
automatically flowed throughout the entire document, how to adjust page numbers, all those things. It did everything. And I'd say in probably about 4 hours, I am now a proficient typesetter.
That's
Now,
fantastic.
I'm coming into that already with the knowledge. I knew the terms, so it's not like I
Yeah.
had to say, "Okay, go and explain this to me." But I had no experience with typesetting, and now in 4 hours of just going through and having it walk me through the steps, I would consider myself to be a proficient typesetter, and now I've already typeset a book for us that we're gonna be releasing in the next probably, like, 3 to 6 months. And all that was done because I sat down with AI and it walked me through and it sent me links to videos. If it's like, oh, this would be helpful, watch this, did that, cool. And it's just, what does that do for animation and storyboarding
Yeah.
and scripting and all these things? Like it's really crazy to think about where we're going.
Yeah, it's it, and uh it also saves you time so you can focus on other like relational things with your
Yeah.
family.
Yeah.
So, you're saving time. It's I think like kind of like the boomer generation have like sort of figured out like, oh, I mean, wrongly. They're like, oh, well, an inheritance is just leaving money to my kids. Well, it's not
Hmm.
leaving money to your kids. It's if you have a successful business, the inheritance is training your children how to run that business so that by the time they're 18, they've acquired enough skill and knowledge and connections and information so that they don't have to spend 10 to 20 years figuring it out like you do. They shortcutted all that sort of stuff because of your inheritance so that now they have another 10 to 20 years to be even more fruitful than you were.
Yeah.
And so but for some reason inheritance just became, well, I'm just going to write a check to them at the end of the day, and then they're going to go
Yeah.
out and blow it because I didn't teach them the proper skills or give them the network or
Yeah.
any of those sort of things. And so by using AI to learn all these sort of things, you're saving time and you're shortcutting in a very good ways that can make you way more productive and earn more finances for your family. And not have to take 10 to 20 years of just thorns in the ground and toil and sweat, God's
Yeah.
reducing the toil and sweat and the thorns in the ground, so.
Yeah. No, it's true. All right, brother. Before we wrap up, because I do need to get going, but before we wrap up, any parting words for you, for our listeners, for any of our skeptics, any last things,
Yeah, well, I
persuading
do. I
words
do
that
want to
you might
mention
have?
this tweet briefly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Just
Yeah,
just in
yeah,
in
sorry,
the
I forgot about
sense
that.
of because I think the biggest argument is that I hear all the time is that AI is creating the thing, not the human.
Yeah.
And so I think that's theologically wrong because I don't think inanimate objects can make things. The individual, the image bearer, is the one that is the patron of the art, the maker of the thing. And so when I've been trying to figure out like where's the theological text for what AI is. I think this tweet, and I'm still working this out. So this isn't like a clearly defined sort of thing, but the basic principle is Genesis 1. You have the Trinity, and God said within the Trinity, within the Godhead, let us make these, heaven and earth and light and all these sort of things, right? So, so that is a verbal prompt and things are made. And then in Job 38, you see God prompting creation. So, he says to the waves, go this far. And, so you see when God's responding to Job, he's saying, who is it that prompted this thing? And who is it that, and, people, you can fine tune minutia, what prompting means, but I mean it in just the sense of giving a verbal instruction, and that verbal instruction resulting in the creation of a thing. And so when a human is prompting, he is putting in language, words, and using words, and then something is made and created as a result. So when I say that the pagans have created a way to create things in the same ways that God does, it doesn't mean that humans are God and we're like that sort of stuff. But it does show that this is proof that God exists because they can't even create AI without language. you know and so and the other one other thing is that the bird who sings is not aware of that they're making beautiful art. They're just doing what they're programmed to do. So the bird is not creating a song. God is. God is
Mm.
using the bird to create. And so you don't say praise the bird for that song. You say praise God for that bird song. And praise God for that sunset. Praise God for that beautiful beach and all. You right. So you give God the credit, not the thing. And so I think in the same way, when humans prompt, the prompter is the artist. The prompter is the one who's making that art. And you know, in Job, it says all these amazing things about the ostrich, but it says, is she even aware? Right. So
Mm.
so she's not, the bird's not even aware. Like, it's just like a robot. Like, a robot's not aware. And Piper has a great point on this too, where he says, that AI can reason better than you, it can think better than you, it can provide evidence and research and make art better than you, but the proof that you are made in the image of God is not your ability to reason and think. It's your ability to be able to enjoy the work that is made, right? And enjoy and praise God and take glory in God. The robot, the AI, can never do that.
Yep.
So it is made in the image of an image bearer. So it's always that. And so that's the point I just wanted to point out. And then since you got to go, I'll just wrap up by saying, listen, if you happen to have, I really would like to talk to people about investing in this stuff more. So
Yeah.
if you happen to be that kind of person that can do that, I would love to have a conversation with you. It's Marcus, Marcus at LLOR.tv. Email me there, or reach out to me on Facebook or social media. I'd love to have a conversation with you. When I say there's a big problem in the art and entertainment world because nobody's investing, I actually mean it. I can back it up. It's a massive problem. And there's reasons why people are always complaining about the problems with capital. And so if you think AI is bad because it cheapens the amount of work, my question to you is, well, how much have you invested in art and entertainment? And the answer is probably not. You haven't. So this is the market correcting, but I think there's ways we could take advantage of it. And I'm looking forward to using Lore as a platform to incubate and develop AI indie artists and filmmakers and stuff like that. So
Yeah, I think it's important to make people aware that creating even just like a book is not an inexpensive venture, right? Like I produce books all the time now, and that doesn't even include having an illustrator, but it's the cost that goes into writing a manuscript, editing it. If you're going to do it properly, you're editing it 3, maybe 4 times. You're typesetting it, your cover design, physically printing the books, like all these things. And so Christians, like, if you do want better books, if you do want better video games, if you do want better movies, like you got to pony up, right? And I think what we do need to see is just, we need to see some people with that who do have some of that industry experience, but who are Christians and are just, I guess the challenge is even getting in front of people, because like let's just say you had a couple Bungie developers who either are or became Christians, or like, guys, we're starting a studio and we're going to create the next great first person shooter.
I just want to be clear, because it's easy for me. Like, I don't have a lot of success in the Hollywood industry, but I just want to be clear. Our CEO built Fuel TV for Fox Cable Networks. He's built cable channels. He's worked with Red Bull and Mountain Dew. Like, he knows this space. He knows how to build younger generational media brands, and it's still hard finding capital.
Yeah.
So it's not an experience thing. It's not a team thing. It is a worldview thing. The reason we do not have arts and entertainment is not because the skill's not out there, not because we don't have the team, not because we don't have the business model or a profitable thing. It's because there's not enough capital to put gas in the machine. There's not, and that requires bravery and risk taking. And it's not going to come through a nonprofit organization or a church mega church funding the next film. That's not how it's going to work. It worked for The Chosen, but that's a once in a generation sort of thing. You can't build consistent pop culture brands through nonprofit. It just doesn't work that way. There has to be financial incentives and risk and reward in order for something to take place. So
Well,
contact me.
listeners-
Listen, contact me. Like I will walk you through everything, but you have to understand that there is a massive worldview problem, and the people that take advantage and realize it and put the risk and capital are going to be very rewarded because no one else has the courage.
Yeah. So listeners, if you got deep pockets, first off, I would like to know who you are. That'd be great for us over at Reforming Nerddom. But bigger than that, I'd rather see great Christian media. So please do reach out to Marcus at I'm King Ginger on X, or reach out to him on his email. He already shared that. But Marcus, brother, thank you very much for joining us. This was great.
Yeah, thank you for having me, man. Appreciate it.
It's always encouraging to meet fellow nerds, people who are passionate about this stuff. We want to see the world conformed, and that's just our very optimistic view of the future. We want to see good things, not just in the future, but now as well. So we'll be praying for you and what you guys are doing at Lure TV. Pray that you guys do get some of that funding that you'd like to see. And listeners, just a reminder, if we want to transform the world, we also have to put some skin in the game. We have to commit to that. We have to commit our resources to that. So if there is a project, even think locally, right? If there's a project locally, if it may be something in the arts or plays or something, right? Let's do that. If it's local, if we can do bigger scale, let's reclaim
local comedy
the arts.
clubs, create local comedy groups.
Yeah.
All major cultural influencers start in sketch comedy or stand-up comedy in some way. So it's free. It doesn't take anything. You just need a stage, and you need to have the courage to let people tell bad jokes and then go, that didn't work.
Yeah, that's right. That's a great idea. So, okay, well, you know what, Marcus, I'd love to have you on more just to flesh out some of these things.
Dude, as many times as you want, man. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. It's nice to have a podcast that, from a reform perspective, that understands the value of pop culture.
That's what we're trying to do.
It's okay to enjoy dumb things.
It's okay. That's right. To the glory of God, right? That's all right.
Amen.
Okay, well, thank you again, brother. And listeners, again, thank you for tuning in. And just a reminder that you can go support us over at Patreon. You can find that in the show notes. And from there, you can join us on our Discord. Thank you again for your support. And until next time, stay nerdy.